What's good, y'all? It's your boy Ross, back at it again with another video. So we're gonna check out identical cars, different brands, discovery shocking rebadged models of today. Now, this is not surprising. I can see, basically a similar car being charged a crazy amount, higher than you would think it should be, considering one brand has a similar make and model, then the other brand has a similar make and model. But because they are associated with different brands in the name, that's really what you're paying for a lot of times with these vehicles, is the name. That's why it costs a lot more, even though they have a similar engine, similar builds, similar probably gas mileage, similar probably technology involved, maybe a little bit of difference in quality depending on the brand or the company. But a lot of times you're literally just paying for the name. For example, Ferrari, they can charge whatever they want for their vehicles, because guess what? It's a Ferrari. You're paying for the name, and that's why you're gonna pay an extra, maybe $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 when you can get you something that is not as expensive as a Ferrari, but you're still, get similar horsepower, similar specs and quality and stuff like that. But guess what? It's a Ferrari, so you're gonna pay that much more because of the name itself at that point. But we're gonna appreciate all love sport. I'm not gonna waste no more time. Let's get right into this video, man.
Have you ever wondered if you're paying thousands more for a car that's basically the same as a cheaper one? Car companies do this all the time. Same engine, same parts, just a different badge on the front. And most people never even notice. In this video, you'll see 10 cars that look different on the outside but are nearly identical underneath. Some of these pairs will surprise you, and the last one might change how you see your favorite brand. If this channel found you, then subscribe and keep our relationship going. Let's jump in. Number 1, Nissan Frontier and Mercedes-Benz X-Class.
Wow.
Let's talk about a luxury truck that wasn't exactly what it seemed. The Mercedes-Benz X-Class looked like a premium pickup, but underneath it was based on the Nissan Frontier. Instead of building a brand new truck from the...
Bro, I don't think I've ever seen one of these in person. I didn't even know this was a thing, actually. Coming from someone that, has had a few Mercedes-Benz, myself, I didn't even know this was a thing. I didn't even know about this class. This is my first time seeing this. So that's insane. Did not know that.
Ground up. Mercedes teamed up with Nissan. They used the same design as the Nissan Navara, a version of the Frontier made for global markets. Both trucks had the same base, suspension system, and overall structure. The X-Class's engine, a 2.3-liter twin-turbo diesel that made 187 horsepower, was also borrowed from Nissan. Later, Mercedes added a stronger 3.0-liter V6 diesel, which did come from Mercedes itself. But aside from that engine upgrade, most changes were about looks and comfort. Many people don't know that the X-Class didn't do well in the market. It was pricey, and most truck buyers didn't think it felt like a real Mercedes. Because of low sales, Mercedes stopped making it in 2020, just 3 years after launch.
I did not know that was a thing. I learned something new today. Didn't know about the Mercedes X-Class, because it definitely it looks exactly like that Nissan truck, and they were just gonna charge more because it has the Mercedes name on it, but nobody was buying it.
2. Dodge Caravan and Chrysler Town and Country / Pacifica. Many have encountered two familiar names when looking at family vans: the Dodge Caravan and the Chrysler Town and Country. Even though they looked slightly different and had different price tags, they were built by the same company. Chrysler was behind the design of both. The Dodge Caravan was made for people looking for a budget-friendly option. At the same time, the Town and Country was aimed at those wanting a more premium feel, but under the surface, they were nearly the same. Both vans had the same engine, a 3.6-liter Pentastar V6 that produced about 283 horsepower. They also used the same 6-speed automatic transmission, and their chassis, suspension, and brakes were alike. The main difference was in comfort and features. In 2017, Chrysler made a big move by replacing the Town and Country with a new model, the Pacifica. This van had significant upgrades, including a smoother ride, a modern 9-speed automatic transmission, and a hybrid version for better fuel economy. Number 3, Honda Passport and Isuzu Rodeo. Here's a surprising one. The original Honda Passport wasn't really a Honda at all. It was actually an Isuzu Rodeo with a Honda badge on it. In the 1990s, Honda had no SUV for the US market, so they teamed up with Isuzu to quickly enter the growing SUV space. The result? 2 nearly identical SUVs sold under different names. Underneath both.
And what's really crazy about that, and they already talked about it, is most people don't even pay attention. Like, unless you're looking at them side by side or a video like this, you wouldn't even really realize it until, wait a minute, it's the same vehicle. A lot of times made by the same company or the same manufacturer. Like, that's actually pretty insane when you really break it down. And you're going to pay a lot more because of the name.
Vehicles were the same. They shared the same engines, a 2.6-liter 4-cylinder and a 3.2-liter V6, with power ranging from 120 to 205 horsepower depending on the model year. Buyers could choose between a 4-speed automatic or a 5-speed manual transmission. Honda didn't even build the Passport. Isuzu built both SUVs in Indiana, and even the tiny details like key fobs and VIN numbers followed Isuzu's format. The only things that set the Passport apart were a few design touches. It had a Honda grille, slightly different taillights, and, of course, Honda badges. But everything else, and from the frame to the suspension to the dashboard, was all Isuzu. Honda eventually stopped making the Passport in 2002 and replaced it with the Pilot, their in-house design. On the other hand, Isuzu continued the Rodeo for a couple more years until production ended in 2004. Many drivers had no idea these two SUVs were basically the same. Number 4, Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierra. Now let's look at 2 full-size trucks more alike than most people think. The Chevy Silverado and the GMC Sierra. Both are made by General Motors and share the same base structure, engines, and transmission systems. Under the hood, these two offer identical engine choices. You'll find a 2.7-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, a 5.3-liter V8, a 6.2-liter V8, and a 3.0-liter Duramax diesel engine. Even when it comes to towing, the numbers are almost the same. The Silverado can pull up to 13,300 pounds, while the Sierra is slightly lower at 13,200. Meanwhile, the Silverado keeps things more practical. It focuses on utility and toughness rather than luxury. One standout feature is the tailgate. The Sierra comes with the Multi-Pro tailgate, a 6-function setup with a built-in step. Silverado later added a similar feature called the Multi-Flex, but it wasn't initially available. There's another small difference that off-road fans might notice. The off-road versions, the Sierra AT4 and the Silverado ZR2, have different suspension setups. The ZR2 uses Multimatic DSSV shocks, which are great for extreme off-road conditions. The AT4, on the other hand, comes with Rancho shocks, which are better suited for mild off-road trails. When it comes down to it, both trucks are nearly the same under the surface. If luxury and extra comfort matter more, the Sierra might be worth the extra money. Number 6.
And them trucks are still pretty expensive. Even though they're pretty similar, trucks, I mean, they can run you, especially a new one with all the features and all this other stuff, it can run you easily over 100,000 with no problems. Very, very expensive.
Toyota 86 and Subaru BRZ. Here's a pair of modern sports cars that are almost like twins. The Toyota 86 and Subaru BRZ were built together by both companies to offer an affordable, fun-to-drive car with a classic rear-wheel drive setup. Both cars run on Subaru's 2.4-liter flat-4 engine. They also share the same platform and suspension system and come with a 6-speed manual or automatic transmission. Because of their low center of gravity and lightweight design, just around 2,800 pounds, these cars handle really well and feel quick and balanced on the road. So what's different? Not much, but there are a few small things. One is the suspension tuning. The Subaru BRZ is tuned to feel softer and more comfortable for daily driving. At the same time, the Toyota 86 has a firmer setup that helps it grip better in corners. Number 7. Volkswagen Touareg and Porsche Cayenne. Most people see the Porsche Cayenne as a high-end luxury SUV built for speed. They don't realize it shares its roots with the Volkswagen.
That's, and like I was saying earlier, you know, with just the, you know, Ferrari being able to charge whatever they want. Anything Porsche, you're gonna be paying a decent amount of money, especially new. In comparison to the Volkswagen, this one right here, bruh, I know for a fact that ticket price is just, you know, crazy in comparison to each other, and probably have the same type of engine specs and everything, and you wouldn't know it. Only thing you can go off of is the name, unless you know the like the engine specs and everything else.
Touareg, a vehicle built more for comfort and rugged terrain. Both SUVs were developed together by the Volkswagen Group and use the same basic platform. Even the engines in the early models were shared. At one point, you could get either an SUV with a 3.2-liter V6, a 4.2-liter V8, or even a powerful 5.0-liter V10 diesel. Later, they offered newer options like a 3.6-liter V6 and twin-turbo V8s. Performance-wise, Porsche fine-tuned the Cayenne to handle like a sports car. It had quicker steering and a stiffer suspension setup that gave it better control at higher speeds, making the Cayenne feel more fun to drive on the road. Volkswagen, however, took a different path with the Touareg. While it didn't corner like the Cayenne, it had the edge in off-road driving. It had features like a locking center differential and air suspension that could be raised or lowered depending on the terrain. The Cayenne didn't match that level of off-road ability. Even when it came to the interiors, both were surprisingly close. The seats, dashboards, tech, and safety systems looked and felt almost the same in many models. Some even had identical digital displays and buttons. But the price difference was significant. The Touareg was much more affordable. Number 8, Toyota Camry and Honda Accord. Under the hood, they each have 2.5-liter four-cylinder engines that deliver almost the same power. The Camry puts out 203 horsepower, while the Accord offers 192. It's not a huge difference. What sets them apart is their driving feel. The Accord is tuned for a sportier, more responsive experience, while the Camry leans more toward a smooth, relaxed ride. It really depends on what kind of driving experience you prefer. These two sedans also share many of the same suppliers. Their screens,
I'm not gonna lie to you, I do like the Toyota Camrys. My mom had one a few years back before she ended up getting her Challenger, and she had I think it was Toyota Camry XSE. Love the interior in there. Love I think it was like it had a black top, and I think it was a white half. So the top half was black, the white half was bottom. I mean the white. It's a white half. The bottom half was white. Had like red and black leather interior. It was a nice ride. I ain't gonna lie to you. Even when I go to car meets, I see a lot of people in the Toyota Camrys just kind of modifying them, either putting them on bags, obviously underglow and all kinds of other stuff. But they actually be looking pretty clean. So much respect to, Toyota there.
Missions and safety features often come from the same companies. Number 9, Ford Escape and Mazda Tribute. In the early 2000s, two compact SUVs hit the market that looked different but were the same underneath. The Ford Escape and the Mazda Tribute. While they had separate names and badges, they were built on the same foundation. Ford and Mazda worked together on the project, but Ford led most of the engineering. Both models launched in 2001 using the same frame, engines, and transmissions.
I remember
Under
those.
the hood, buyers
Don't see
had
too
a
many
few
of them
choices.
now.
A 2.0-liter four-cylinder, a more potent 3.0-liter V6, and eventually a hybrid version. The V6, which produced 200 horsepower, was the most common and well-liked option. Front-wheel drive came standard, but both vehicles offered all-wheel drive for those who wanted more traction. Did you know that both SUVs were built at the same factory in Kansas City? They even came in the same paint colors. Mazda eventually replaced the Tribute with the CX-7 in 2008, and later with the popular CX-5. On the other hand, Ford continued developing the Escape and gave it a complete redesign in 2013. Number 10, 1969 Ford Mustang and 1973 Toyota Celica Fastback. Let's wrap up with one of the most surprising lookalikes in car history. The 1973 Toyota Celica Fastback looked much like a smaller version.
I'm today years old. I didn't even know Toyota made something like this. What? When did this? What? Toyota made something like this? This looks like American muscle right here. This is crazy. What?
Of the 1969 Ford Mustang, which was no accident. Even the details matched. The Celica's front grille, side vents, and tail lights closely resembled the Mustang's design. But the two cars told very different stories once you looked under the hood. The Mustang offered raw power with its big V8 engines, including a 428 Cobra jet that pushed out a massive 335 horsepower. Conversely, the Celica came with either a 1.6-liter or 2.0-liter four-cylinder engine, both delivering under 100 horsepower. Clearly, Toyota wasn't building a drag racer. So there you have it. Cars that may wear different badges but are secretly the same underneath. Some were built for comfort, others for performance, and a few were dressed up with luxury labels. Ultimately, it all comes down to knowing what you're paying for. Badge engineering isn't always bad. In some cases, it gives buyers more choices and better deals. However, it also shows how much branding can influence perception, even when two vehicles share the same DNA. Here's a question. Would you rather save money for the less flashy badge, or would you still pay more just for the name? Hit that thumbs up button for the...
And that's literally what it is. A lot of times you're paying more for the name. That's it. Now, me personally, I'd rather pay for the performance side. If I'm gonna spend some money, I want to be able to know that the vehicle that I'm getting into is going to be able to handle, you know, the type of driving that I'm going to do on a consistent basis, whether I want to chill, whether I want to be a little bit on the speedier side of things, and I don't have to worry about worried about something breaking down as often. So that's kind of my general rule, because I'm more of someone that likes luxury, comfort, but also speed. You know, I like the aggressive sides of, vehicles. So that's kind of my personal preference, and I'd rather pay money into something reliable but also has the speed factor than getting something that has the speed factor but is not reliable. And everyone's personal preference is different. Some people like the comfort side, so they may go with something that's reliable, comfort, but not really good on speed, and that's fine. So comment down below, let me know some other car related videos you guys want me to check out. I definitely will. I appreciate all love, support. Road to 150K. Appreciate y'all kicking it with me. See y'all next one. Peace.